Love ain't always what it's cracked up to be. For this list, we're taking a look at 90-day fiancé couples that were going through a downward spiral. Their whole relationship felt like a joke, and fans even wondered why they'd still stick around. This list has gold diggers, the pretenders, and the lovestruck.
I've always loved you, Natalie, but right now, I don't know.
Number 5. Natalie and Mike. Natalie Mordovtseva and Mike Youngquist had a whirlwind international romance after meeting through mutual friends. Both divorced, Natalie and Mike seemed ready to settle down despite their many differences. But when Mike, who hails from rural Washington state, visited Natalie in Ukraine after their engagement, the couple's differences became so obvious. Natalie wanted children right away, while Mike wanted to wait to have children until after his significant credit card debt had been handled. Meanwhile, Natalie's devout Christian beliefs clashed with Mike's atheism. As if this isn't all a red flag already. Just before Mike headed back to the United States, Natalie threw his engagement ring at him as a test, as she admitted. She also told TLC producers she wasn't sure if she was in love with Mike at all. Hurt by Natalie's actions, Mike returned to his home state unsure of his future with his Ukrainian fiancé. In this episode, an awkward video phone call between Natalie and Mike revealed the couple was still uncertain about their relationship after the trip. After a week back in the US alone, Mike tried to communicate with Natalie in hopes of some kind of resolution after their wild fight. Mike was looking for some type of closure. Just looking for some type of closure, answer, reasoning, something. I don't know, he told the cameras. But things weren't as clear-cut as he might have hoped. What have you been doing this last week, he asked Natalie. You mean, was I thinking about us, she wondered. No, Natalie answered, seeming to hold back on purpose. But her American fiancé wasn't about to let things go that easily. We just didn't leave on good terms when I left you, so I don't know, Mike ventured. I've just been thinking about that a lot. As the two continued to argue, Mike just wanted Natalie to admit she really did love him, despite her previous comments to TLC producers that she didn't love him. Natalie insisted that his off-screen behavior was the reason for her remarks. You could talk, Natalie prompted, asking Mike to lead the conversation. You don't think nothing about it? Mike asked. You could talk, Natalie repeated. Finally, Mike admitted he'd struggled since he left Ukraine without Natalie. I don't know, I've had a really tough week since I've been back, he revealed. So do you love me or what? Do you still love me? Natalie shot back. No, I'm asking you. Do you love me? Mike replied, clearly wanting her to be the first to concede. You answer first, his fiancé jabbed back. I've always loved you, Natalie, he said sadly. But right now, I don't know. As the tug of war continued, Mike and Natalie didn't seem to be anywhere close to a resolution, as both wanted the other to be the first to give in and be vulnerable after their argument. Kinda cut me deep, Mike told his fiancé. I think that you cut me real deep. Natalie replied, I have my view, and it's different from yours. I did nothing bad to you, only because I gave you the ring. I had my reasons. And you know. How did I cut you? Mike asked. Many moments that happened behind the screen, Natalie said non-committally. She added, you have to be stronger. I want you to be more responsible. I think I am beyond responsible right now, Mike interrupted. I need you to be more serious. Go to America for a man I cannot even trust, Natalie declared. I will not do this. But when TLC producers asked what Natalie meant, Mike wouldn't reveal any further information. What trust issues, they asked him. What happened off camera? Mike paused, then replied, I don't know what's honestly going through her head. Still, his teary eyes and sudden exit said differently.
I'm just nervous, bro.
Think it was the
Yo got the bubble guts.
Number 4. Robert and Annie. Robert and Annie had quite a shaky journey to marriage during Annie's first 90 days in the US. After hitting it off online and spending only 8 hours together in person, Robert proposed to his Dominican girlfriend on a cruise. But once Annie arrived in Robert's home state of Florida to live with him and his 5-year-old son Bryson, things didn't get any easier for the couple. Annie realized her future husband had 5 children by 4 different mothers, while he'd only told her beforehand about 3 of his kids. What's more, Annie wasn't happy with Robert's thrifty ways after he took her on a shopping spree to a thrift store. The couple also fought over Robert's social media photos with ex-girlfriends, Annie's fantasy, and Robert's refusal to get a 2-bedroom apartment as he'd promised. Meanwhile, Robert's family members doubted Annie's motives and wondered if she only wanted her fiancé for a visa. Despite all their issues, Annie and Robert did end up making it to the end of the 90 days together and planning a wedding. Still, in this episode, Robert admitted he wasn't so sure about the whole thing after all. Robert's cousin and other family members drove him to his upcoming wedding, looking more nervous than ever and sweating nervously in his red tuxedo. The groom admitted he had often wondered if he and Annie would make it to their wedding day. In previous episodes, Robert confessed that he sometimes thought Annie was materialistic and a little too wild in terms of partying and fantasies than he had anticipated. Annie too said she was disappointed by Robert's dishonesty in certain areas, as well as how she was treated by his family. But both Annie and Robert insisted they loved each other and wanted to parent Bryson together. I never thought that this day would come, Robert told TLC producers. Now the reality is really hitting me. Robert's cousin teased him about his sweaty hands, asking him if he needed some air. I think it's the lotion I've got on my hands. hands, Robert claimed. Nah, you just nervous, bro, his cousin pushed back. You got the bubble guts, so now your hands is all watery. Robert admitted he thought of driving off before the wedding since he realized he was about to make the ultimate commitment to Annie. It seemed that the warnings from his brother as well as Bryson's grandma about how fast he was moving with his fiancée might have finally been getting to him. Yo, real talk. If I said to you, let's drive off, let's go, turn around, what would you think? Robert asked his cousin anxiously. I'd be like, yo cuz, are you sure this is what you want to do? His cousin replied. The single dad admitted that he had major doubts and cold feet just before he said, I do. All these thoughts was racing through my mind that I'm going to be bonded with Annie for life, Robert told 90 Day Fiancé producers. In my mind, I'm like, it's not too late. I don't know. Were Robert's doubts just wedding jitters or the real deal? Viewers will find out soon whether Robert's nerves ultimately got the best of him or not on his wedding day.
Hello?
Hey, Marcel.
Is it okay, huh?
You got your visa?
Number 3. Marcel and Anna. Fans of 90 Day Fiancé have never quite been sure what to make of Anna Campisi from Nebraska and her Turkish fiancé Marcel Mistanoglu. Anna and Marcel, both beekeepers who met online, struggled early on with their language barrier and cultural differences. But things went from challenging to downright heartbreaking when Marcel revealed that he hadn't told his parents about Anna's 3 sons from her previous marriage. Anna gave her fiancé an ultimatum, saying she wouldn't marry him unless and until he came clean to his family. Marcel reluctantly agreed, but things didn't go as Anna planned. His parents were furious and demanded he return to Turkey immediately, which he sadly did. That's why fans were so surprised to find out that Marcel and Anna were actually married now. As it turned out, Marcel reversed his decision to leave Anna and return to Nebraska to marry her before the end of their first 90 days together in the US. On a recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Anna explained that Marcel had called her, hoping he could return both to the US and the relationship. Although the rules of the K-1 spousal visa suggested that Marcel couldn't come back on the same visa if he left the country at any time during the given 90 days, Anna's fiancé visited the American embassy in Turkey to ask for a reprieve. If they agreed, he would be allowed to return on the same visa and marry Anna just before the end of the 90 days. It doesn't really happen often, but he may be able to come back on the same K-1 visa, Anna explained as she waited nervously for a call from her fiancé after his interview with the embassy. Like, I can't believe that we're even getting an opportunity for this interview. This whole thing is just crazy. While Anna said she knew she'd get some backlash for reconciling with Marcel, she wanted to follow her heart. When Marcel left to go back to Turkey, I was really heartbroken, Anna told TLC producers. She initially pushed him away when he expressed doubts over their relationship because of his family, but in the end, Anna explained, she couldn't get over him. I was in disbelief, and I guess at that moment, I was so angry at him for leaving, she said. But you know, I still love him. Marcel finally called Anna after a tense wait to reveal that his interview had gone well. He'd be able to return and marry Anna on the same visa. Visa okay, he announced on a FaceTime call to an overjoyed Anna. When are you coming back to America, she asked. 2 days, Marcel replied, adding that he already had his ticket back to the US. Marcel just found out that he's getting the visa reissued, Anna exclaimed, but there was one more complication, she added. Because he was returning to the US on the same K-1 visa, the couple would only have a window of 6 hours to marry. If they missed the window, Marcel would be deported, and the process would have to start over from scratch. It looks like the international couple made it just in the nick of time if their marriage license and wedding photos are any indications.
And how much money did Caesar send you over time?
I don't know. I'm not accountant.
Number 2. Maria and Caesar. When Caesar Mack and Maria got back together after their Mexico breakup, fans were frustrated with the love-struck nail technician. The hopeless 90 Day Fiancé romantic also revealed that he was sending money to his Ukrainian love again. In another segment, Maria chatted with her friends about Mac. Her friend suggested Mac doesn't send her enough money. He doesn't deserve your forgiveness, said her friend. Caesar sent you some money, I know, but he didn't send you like a huge amount of money. When a producer asked her how much money Mac had sent altogether, Maria replied, I don't know, I'm not an accountant. She also added, so it's like, for Caesar, if he wants to have a girl like me, he should understand that he needs to work and do something. Go on and make more money. Many 90 Day Fiancé fans started to view Maria as a gold digger. At least she's not a catfish, but she's definitely out for his money when she says he's American. That's good. Another user wrote, I'm sure she got like 20 Caesars sending her money. She's not gonna stop. The money's too good. Wow, this sounds like a gold diggers meeting, added another commenter. In my opinion, Caesar should just forget about this girl who doesn't care about him.
Started drinking already, like...
Yeah, so?
Number 1. Jasmin and Blake. Blake Abelard and Jasmin Latinen have confused many viewers, especially because they couldn't possibly seem more different. Blake is an outgoing Los Angeles music producer, DJ, and audio engineer. He has a wide circle of friends and loves live shows and partying. Meanwhile, Jasmin is a reserved Finnish model who hopes to become a stay-at-home mom. She's introverted and prefers to stay away from crowds and drinking. Their differences become even more obvious on this particular episode, where Blake had a night of partying planned for his friend's birthday. Jasmin wanted a quiet night alone, The couple's argument got so heated that Jasmin finally left to spend time with her sister instead. During the start of the episode, Blake planned to take Jasmin out for the night to ease his friend's skepticism about the relationship. "All the fears that my friends have about Jasmin, it's a little hard to hear," he admitted. Blake said he and Jasmin were going to head out to dinner with his friends for a close buddy's birthday before spending the night partying at a club. He hoped the night would help Jasmin and his friends find common ground. But Jasmin had different ideas. "Can we skip that pre-dinner thing?" she asked him, hoping to have a quiet night alone with her fiancé instead before the party. "I would rather just go to dinner, just me and Blake," Jasmin told TLC producers. But Blake said skipping the dinner would be even worse than skipping the party. "That's the most important part," he insisted. "But I am more important. We are more important," Jasmin pushed back, saying they had precious little time to spend alone before their wedding. Blake reluctantly agreed, but admitted he wasn't pleased with his fiancée at that moment. Jasmin knew what the plan was. "So no, I'm not super happy about it," Blake said. The couple's night out wasn't as quiet and romantic as Jasmin hoped. At dinner, Blake ordered several drinks, leaving Jasmin frustrated. "I'm not going to be the only one drinking while everyone else does," he told her as he ordered another. "He's drinking and not paying attention to me, and it's kind of making me annoyed," Jasmin told 90 Day Fiancé producers, adding that she was fine with 1 or 2 drinks, but felt uncomfortable when Blake drank more than that. "I'm thinking I might go home after this," Jasmin finally said, clearly angry with her fiancé. But Blake insisted Jasmin head to the party with him to form a better relationship with his friends. "Well, you can go alone." Jasmin refused. "It's a total waste," Blake declared. "You didn't have to cut into my friend's birthday." Outside the restaurant, the couple continued to argue about Blake's drinking and Jasmin's introversion, with Jasmin finally heading to her sister's house in a cab and leaving Blake to go to the party by himself.